Everyone, this is Noura Al Khalifa. Hello
Hello, good
everyone,
afternoon.
this is Noura Al Khalifa and this is the 7th talk show. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook and YouTube. Today we have Dr. Series with us and hello Dr. Seri, how are you?
Doing fine, doing fine. Are you able to see me and hear me?
I think I'm getting mute every time. So hello Dr. Seri, how are you today?
Doing very well, thank you. And how about you?
Thank you so much for joining us on the 7th talk show. And for everyone, whoever didn't register yet in our upcoming conference from the 5th to the 9th of December, please visit www.195university.com and register. Please, if you know any student, any parent, anyone from the academics who's interested in higher and vocational education, please join us on the day of the event. So let's start with our guest, Dr. Seri from PTIS. Hello, doctor. How are you? How is everything?
Everything is fine here. I hope it's the same with you as well.
Everything is good. Can you tell us more about your university and institution?
Certainly. Just to introduce myself. My name is Srinivasan Madapusi. I'm a senior professor at the BITS Pilani Dubai campus, Birla Institute of Technology and Science. A little bit of history about our institution. It actually started in a small village back in 1901 in India, where it started as a small school. This was essentially then growing eventually into a college. And then in 1964, it took shape as an institution of higher learning. That is when it became known as the Birla Institute of Technology and Science. The key features about this institution are that it had very early on adopted a curriculum that is based in the United States. They had a collaboration with MIT, which is a top technological institution in the world. And right from those days, they had the systems such as the modular structure and the letter grading and so on brought into the Indian campus. That was basically the origin of the BITS Pilani system. And then in 2000, the campus in Dubai was started. And this was the first Indian institution that set up a campus outside of India. So we have a 20+ year history in Dubai. And our focus has been on technology and science. And the motto for our institution is knowledge is power supreme. So our interest is basically to cultivate the scientific mind and to provide creative roles for our students so that they can serve humanity better. The campus in Dubai, since 2000 when it started, has now blossomed into programs which include now all the disciplines such as mechanical engineering, chemical, civil, computer science, and so on in the first degree, that is the undergraduate degree. And then in the postgraduate, the master's level, we have programs in mechanical and electrical engineering, and we offer PhDs as well as MBA programs across all the different departments. We have typically a cohort of about 300 to 400+ students coming into the program every year, and we have on-campus facilities for them, as well as we have a number of students who are staying outside, of course. The focus of our institution is, apart from the technical part, the academic part, academic curriculum and so on, is also to foster wholesome development. So, for example, the BITS Sports Festival, which recently concluded last week, is the biggest sports festival at the university level across the whole of UAE. And we had over 23 universities participating in this festival, over more than 2,000 students participating in the various events. So we give a lot of importance to wholesome all-round development, not only the academics, but well as the cultural parts, the sports development, and so on. So we provide essentially a complete growth for students. The other key feature that we have in our institution, which is embedded in the BITS DNA, is the concept of the practice school. The idea is that when the students do a technical education, at some point in time, they're going to be ready to work in industry. So why not bring industry into the campus or get the students into the industry even earlier? So based on that theory, what we have done is to come up with a program that allows students to spend up to 7 months during the curriculum as a compulsory industry stint. And that actually prepares them well for the later jobs that they take up for the future careers after they graduate. So this, in a nutshell, is what our institution is all about.
Can you tell us more about the culture of the university? Like if there's any students who would like to join the university, how is it the culture of the study over there?
The focus, as I mentioned, is basically all-round development. So which means that we are, of course, we are paying a lot of attention to the academic credentials and so on, but the all-round growth is something that we emphasize as well. When the graduate, if you look at how industry views a typical technical graduate, they go for what is called as the T profile. That is, you are required to have depth in a certain area, which is the vertical part of the T, and then you have a horizontal part, which allows us to say, I'm trained as a mechanical engineer, but I'm able to apply my skills in electrical engineering, other engineerings as well. So there are a lot of elective courses that are offered to the students that allow them to explore all their creative abilities and all the other areas they would like to work on. That gives them the breadth that is really what is industry looking for at present. So in a nutshell, the element of the BITS, what is characteristic about our university and our programs is the degree of flexibility that it offers the students. You get trained in a certain area, but you have a lot of opportunity to explore where else can you take those skill set, where else can you apply them.
So what are the main degree that you offer in the university?
The main degrees are the engineering, which is, of course, the bachelor's degree in civil engineering, chemical, mechanical, electrical, and computer science. Master's degrees in design, power electronics, and then we also have computer science, master's in computer science. We have an MBA program, and we offer PhD degrees in all the different disciplines. All the engineerings have PhD programs as well.
What do you think about the role of higher education and the economy and the development in general?
I would say it's extremely vital. I will bring to the attention of the audience a news item that came today in CNN. They were talking about what they called as xenobots. These are basically biological or living robots. Now, what these robots do is, as we know, robots are little machines that do various tasks, right? These robots that have been now created are able to actually reproduce themselves. In other words, you have a group of cells that can now actually collect other cells together and then reproduce themselves. So what you're now seeing is actually an ability, for example, for us to grow a body part. This is something that you can see is at the advanced steps of the science and engineering and knowledge. And this is where the higher education plays a vital role. Anything that translates to a practical application at an advanced level will require a lot of academic work in the background. And then once that academic work is completed, then people move into the translation part where they try to say, okay, we know the science, we understand something about it. How can we make it useful? And that gap is where the education comes in. I learned the science, I learned how to transfer that or translate that into something useful to society. This bridge is where the science and the education and the technology all come together. And all of that takes place only because of higher education.
So what achievement are you most proud of the university?
What are we proud of? In our institution, the one thing that we are proud about, a recent event, I would say, or something that is a continuing process, ongoing process, is that the role that female students are playing in our education system now. Among the campuses, the BITS campuses, the one in Dubai is the one that has the highest percentage of female students. And among the top performers, we have 50% of them are female students. Not only that, very recently we started the Society for Women Engineers, a US-based organization that has come into existence, and we have a local branch. And it was very interesting and gratifying to know that this group of girls have taken it upon themselves to come up with very new programs. For example, yesterday's program was about, it was called Lead or Be Led. They actually put together a program where they showed girls as well as boys how to become a leader. So for girls to take up this initiative on their own to do this under this Society for Women Engineers, for us is an incredibly, I would say, a watershed moment. It tells us that our women students, we are grooming them into becoming confident leaders of the future. For me, that is an extremely proud moment that I observed yesterday.
Thank you so much. We're all proud of the achievements that you have achieved personally and especially also on the university. Thank you so much for joining us, Doctor. Is there anything else you would like to conclude before we finish our talk show?
Just to give a couple of thoughts about maybe the future of education and future of technology and so on. One of the things that we are doing in BITS is to look at interfaces of various areas. An example would be a new area that has evolved is called mechatronics. That is, you have mechanical engineering and electronics engineering coming together to form a new discipline of study, actually. So to look forward to the future, what we need to see collectively is to look for where can we marry different technologies. For example, the evident ones are in medical technology. We know about self-driving cars. Tesla has come out with all these models, right? So how does it work? So when somebody crosses the road, a camera captures that event, and then that visual information is translated eventually to apply brakes so that the car is going to stop before it hits that person. This is sort of a control system that is in place. Now, suppose I have diabetes and I go to the doctor. What's the first thing the doctor is going to say? He's going to say, keep your sugar under control. The word he uses is control. That's exactly the same word that Tesla uses to show that the brakes are applied on time. You can now see a medical technology, the term control, has actually made possible the patches that people can now wear instead of having insulin shots to control their diabetes. So you have a way of measuring the sugar and then injecting the insulin automatically into a system so that the sugar is always kept under control. This is marrying medicine with electronics. This is where the new developments are going to take place. So that's where the T also comes in. I said you have to be proficient in one area, but learn how to transfer that information to other areas. That's the future.
Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Sari, and it's really a pleasure to have you. Just a reminder for all the people who's with us on live, please, if you didn't register yet for our conference from the 5th to the 9th of December, please visit www.195university.com and register. If you know any students academic who's interested on the conference or on higher and vocational educations, please remind them to register as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, Doctor, and we'll see you, inshallah, on the day of the conference.
Thank you.
Doctor.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Noura Khalifa with you, and see you in the next talk show. Bye-bye.